presentation is from Paul Dudeck with Anton Bauer. I've been trying to get them here to show me this and to show you all. This is the Salty Dog. It's a giant battery pack. And Paul, can you tell us about it?
Sure, love to. Thank you, everybody. So I know we've been talking about lighting a lot today, but we're going to talk about how to power lights, which is just as important because if you don't have enough power for your light, you can't use it. So on productions nowadays, everybody's looking to figure out how they can go more green, more sustainable on a production set. And gas and diesel generators account for about 54% more of carbon emissions on a production set. So a lot of productions are looking to go away from gas and diesel generators and move towards larger batteries on set because they also don't produce any noise or any carbon emissions. So we've introduced the Salty Dog last year at Cinegear, and you'll probably ask why the name, but it goes along with the chemistry, which is it's actually a sodium battery. There's no lithium in it. So there's no chance it can catch fire, no chance it can explode, and there's no shipping restrictions on it. It's also got a longer lifespan than a lithium-based battery. So it's a sodium nickel battery. What also makes it more green and sustainable is that because it is sodium, there is no mining of lithium or cobalt, on the front end of it. And since it has a longer lifespan, it's going to be about 15 to 20 years. When this battery is dead, it's actually 100% recyclable. So 60% of it is actually turned into high-grade steel, and 40% goes back to asphalt and ceramic. So, not just being a safer chemistry, but it's actually more sustainable in the long run. So just spec-wise, on the unit, it's a 9 kilowatt unit, 9,000 watts, and you could draw up to 6,000 watts off of it. So you can run an M40, as an example, for an hour and 45 minutes. So when you need power in a remote situation, you need to just do a quick shot or something, you can just roll the Salty Dog out there, plug it in, because it's got a 60 amp stage pin on it, and plug it in. It has 4 Edison plugs. It also has 28 volt DC and 48 volt DC out, so you can power different lights off it without having to use the Edison plugs. For example, on the Airy, the Sky panels, or the S6030s, you can remove the ballast, plug right into the 3-pin XLR. The Vortex 8, you can do the same thing. You can just plug into the XLR rather than having to, go through a ballast or something. All the connectors are individually breakered too. So if you're on set and somebody else wants to plug something in and they decide to short out a connector, only that single connector will go. So it won't shut down all your power. To charge the unit, you could charge it 4 different ways. So again, more being on the sustainable side, we do have a solar panel input. So any set of solar panels that provides a 48 volt output can be plugged into here and charged. It'll take a 20 amp or a 15 amp dedicated Edison plug to charge it. And then the last one is it's got an EV Type 2 plug on the back too for charging. Now the EV Type 2 is more of a convenience. It's not going to super fast charge it like it would a car. It would still take the normal charge time, but it's more about convenience. When you're on set, sometimes it might be easier to find an EV charger rather than a dedicated 20 amp outlet. It's 10 hours from 0. You get to 80% in 6. It is a rather large unit because of the technology of the sodium nickel, because it is heavy. The battery itself weighs 300 pounds, just the battery, but the whole unit is 600. But it does move easily because it's on 10-inch air-filled tires. The reason we did that too, because using casters on something this big when you're trying to move it, running over wire or cable, or even just little slots in asphalt, it's going to bump. So this makes it nice and easy to move. There's also forklift slots on the sides and hoist points on the corners in case you wanted to move it. And you can actually use it as a UPS also, up to about 2,400 watts. It can be plugged into shore power, running power through it. And if you lose power, you don't have any clean power, the battery will just kick in simultaneously so you don't lose power. So we've had it on a lot of productions over the last year or so. And when it gets onto set, I know I'm talking about powering lights, but it can power anything that a typical Putt-putt, 5K, even up to a 7K would normally run out in the field. You can run a makeup trailer, it can run a small video village, it can run lights, it can run anything you want out in the field. On the front, we have a big 7-inch LCD, make it nice and clear and easy for you to read. It tells you how much battery runtime is in there. Oh, there you go. How much power you're pulling off the unit, how much battery capacity is left, and then hours and minutes based on whatever load you're running. So this way you have an accurate depiction of how much runtime you have left on set, because obviously workflow going from a generator where you can just fill with gas to a battery is going to be different. So you're going to have to replace it with another battery after that. You can also go into another screen up on here. And for those productions that are actually tracking carbon emission savings, you can actually run a report with your start date and your end date, and it'll tell you how this unit was used each day, at what power, for how long, and what your equivalent CO carbon emission savings were. So when some of the larger shows like Netflix, Amazon, Disney require that, you can just run the report instead of having somebody have to sit there and figure out and calculate, how long it ran and what it was powering. So it makes it easy for you. And I know most importantly, it's got some USB-C so you can charge your phone, right? Or an iPad, right? The producers always want to charge something, or somebody's going to stick something in there to charge it while it's out on set. It's also IP55 rated, so it is weatherproof. So it can be out in the elements and not be affected by it. And because it doesn't give off any heat, even when you're drawing it at max power, even if you were decided to use it in a rainstorm because you were using Vortex 8s or Sky Panel X, you can literally take a tarp and wrap it around it and just cover it because nothing will happen to it. So here in LA, Coyote is going to be purchasing the first ones. So they'll have them probably by the end of this month. And you can rent as many as you want. The more the better for me. I mean, rent 100. Just to give you an idea, I think estimated rentals are about $600 a day or like $1,700 a week. So it's like a 3-day week. It goes minus 20 degrees Celsius to 50. The battery itself can actually go to minus 40 because there's actually a heater built into the battery, but everything else inside of it could only really go to minus 20. And we actually have one in Norway at the top of a mountain at the ski championships being used. So list price is $47,000. It's because we warranty it for 5 years, and it's going to have about a 20-year lifespan. The technology itself is not new. It's been around for almost 50 years. They're used primarily in electric buses, this cell that's in here, over in Switzerland, which have been used for, I think, 17 years. And in the US, we use them on nuclear warheads. So hence how it's so safe and reliable. So you will be able to parallel them, gang them together. It can do it. We just have to make some adjustments to the firmware right now. So after we release it, probably within 90 days, we'll have firmware that'll be able to do it. And you can gang as many as you want together. So if you are running out of power, just plug another one in and it'll just run it through.
So right now they're not available. It's just at a testing phase at the moment.
Yeah, we have demos out, but our first units are shipping this month.
This month?
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you.
Great presentation.